All right, bracing the idea that you can want things for yourself, even if nobody else understands the whys behind them, is the most freeing and powerful feeling in the world. We are in a company where a lot of people do not like network marketing. There's a lot of bad things going around about it, but that kind of hit me when I read that a couple weeks ago or last week or whatever it was. So nobody has to understand why we do what we do, but as long as you do and you believe in it, that's all that matters. There's a couple more I'm going to read. I'm not going to read the long ones. If I could tell you anything, if I could convince you to believe it, it's that you were made for more. You were made to have the dreams you're afraid of having. You were made to do the things you don't think you're qualified for. You were made to be a leader. You were made to contribute. You were made to make changes for good, both in your local community and the world at large. You were made to be more than you are today. This is the important part. Your version of more might not look like my more or her more. You all were made for more. Don't forget that. I think there was one more I wanted to touch on real quick. Hang on, it was really good. I know it was. One second. Maybe not. Maybe I lied. Okay, anyways. Basically, y'all are made for more, okay? So your excuses, your fears, you're not feeling good enough, you're not feeling worthy, all of that stuff. How is that working for you right now? If that's something that's holding you back, because I know that was something that's been holding me back for a while. And I finally started kicking those fears and saying, but why not me? And ever since I started doing that, my business has shifted and changed so dang much. And it's all because I told you this on last week's meeting, but I picked up self-development and I started asking myself, like, why do I think so little of myself? Why? I know my husband doesn't, so why do I? So how is that working for you by letting that stuff hold you back? Is that pulling you forward to what you actually really want, or is it just pushing yourself back even more? And how it's not going to let you grow or learn. So let that stuff go, because you are badass. I'm just saying, we're all badasses. So what I wanted the pen and paper for is because in this book, Rachel actually writes herself a note. And usually people write themselves a note and they write down all the bad about them and rip it up or flush it down the toilet or burn it or whatever, throw it away. But I want us to write a letter to ourselves right now about all the things that you actually are. So stop and seriously think about that. Are you a good mom? You all on this Zoom are amazing moms. Yes, Shelby, you are growing that baby. I cannot wait to see it. Okay, everybody here, wives, girlfriends, daughters, co-worker, it doesn't matter what it is. You are good. Write down all the good things that you are. I don't care if you list them, you write yourself a love note in a sentence. That I want that to be part one. And then include all the things that you've accomplished this far in life. Could be buying a house, buying a new vehicle, paying it off, whatever it is. And then add where you want to be a year from now. That could be, where do you want to be living? What kind of money do you want in your savings account? Really, and you want to travel? Do you want a vacation? So I'm going to put this in the chat real quick, but let's write some stuff down. Write a love note to yourself, at least about all of the things that you are, instead of all the things that you aren't. Are people still writing right now? Des? Okay. I'll give everybody a couple more minutes. All right. If you guys are still writing, that's okay. We don't have to read these unless you want to read yours. The point of this, though, was just to show you all of the things that you are capable of living out your hopes and your dreams and all the things that you want. But just remember, you can hope and dream and pray about it all day long, but your work ethic has to match what you are wanting. And that's where I kind of had my aha moment. I was only doing a couple things instead of doing all of them. And once I started implementing all of the things that I needed to do is when my business and my mindset started shifting really big. So I just want you all finish that letter. I want you to keep it in a safe space. And when you start doubting yourself or wondering, why am I still doing this? Pick it back up and read it. And maybe it's changed a little bit, right? Throw it away, write yourself a new one. Just remember, you are so good. You really are. You all are amazing. You're all capable of this. We are all capable of 200K. We just have to remember who we are, what we want, and how to get there. So that's really all that I have. I know, Shelby, you wanted to touch on something else. So if you're ready, I'll just shut up and be quiet.
No, that was so good. Actually, it kind of coincides with what you were going after. I was listening to a podcast while I was out resting at hunting camp, and it was just about like labeling your leaders. And so often we jump to conclusions like, well, they're not doing the things, they don't want this, they clearly just don't want to achieve their goals. And when you see somebody kind of falling off, you want to help them reevaluate their goals. But one way to help them not fall off is to evaluate their goals. If they're like, I want to make $1 million, or I want to, buy a new car, or I want to, have 20 grand in savings or whatever, that can seem so big and so far away. And when people's goals are that big, it's very easy for them to disconnect, and it makes it seem not attainable. And our jobs as leaders is to, yes, that's an awesome goal, but what's your smallest goal right now? Let's look at like, what is going to help you this week? Is an extra $50 going to mean something to you? Is an extra $200 a week going to mean something to you? Because so often we start this business and we're not making thousands, a week or a month or a year yet. And we don't think that's significant enough to talk about. But really, when we don't talk about what the business can do, we remain stagnant and we don't grow. We don't grow paychecks. We don't grow a team because we feel like it's so insignificant. How could that mean somebody? How can that mean something to somebody? But we don't know what can mean something to somebody. We don't know. Maybe $50 an extra a week can change someone's life. And so knowing what people's goals are and knowing what their smallest goal in that moment is, like, I could just use $50 a week right now. That would just save my ass so much, and that's so easy to do. $50 a week, you guys, come on, like, easy. And so just talk about it with pride, talk about our paychecks with pride. And even if you are like, my first paycheck was $5. And I talk about that now, like I could buy a fancy Starbucks for my first paycheck. And now, they're not. And I kind of talk about how I can buy a nice hotel Vegas weekend, with my weekly paycheck or whatever. And it gets them thinking like, okay, I could start off paying for my Starbucks addiction or whatever addiction they have, to treating my family, treating myself, and pampering myself. So these small goals will start adding up to bigger goals. Because when I first started this, I looked at the big goal. Like, I saw Ryan and I'm like, I want to be 200K. I want to be able to pay off all my vehicles and pay chunks towards my house and put $500 every single week in a college fund for my kid, like she does. And while that's an amazing goal to have, it's so far away and it can really disconnect you. So starting off with that small goal of, okay, this is going to go into savings. This is going to go into checking, and really just kind of be an advocate for your people. And what are they needing? Are they struggling so hard financially? So cute. Are they struggling so hard financially that you are their lifeline now? Like, they are leaning on you and relying on you to really guide them to become successful. So just really hit the nitty gritty. So this podcast also gave us a 3-layer deep why. Why do you want this business? And she's like, okay, I want to quit my job. Why do you want to quit your job? And they'll be like, well, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I feel like that I just want to be home with my kids more. And so then you would ask, okay, why is it important for you to be home with your kids? Why is it important for you to quit your job so you can be home with your kids? And it's important to that person because maybe they feel like their family is falling apart and they're disconnecting, and she doesn't know her kids anymore because she's just dropping them off at daycare and she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. But she also wants to have that supplemental income because it's hard making on one income these days. It really is. And so just really getting to know your people and creating these genuine friendships, because it's not about just enrolling mass amounts to, make mass amounts. It's about rising up together, because my girls' success is my success. Like, I want my girls to be pushing me hard. I want to push them hard. Like, we've got goals. We want our cars paid for. We want, massive savings. We want to be able to maybe quit our jobs, be a stay-at-home mom, have a cushy retirement. Maybe, I know for me, when I first started, my husband was so miserable being a deputy that I looked at him every day and I was like, I don't even care if I have to stay at my job, because if I can make enough here and retire him, that's all that matters at that point. And so I worked really, really hard, and, we obviously ended up moving, so he quit anyway, but that was one of my goals. And, digging deeper into these goals, not just, oh, my husband's miserable at his job, I would like to retire him. It's seeping into our home life. The negativity is seeping into our home life. We're not negative people, and we were becoming negative people. And we want to spend more time together and go out and spend time hunting and in the mountains more, and going on vacation with friends and family, and not having to be like, oh, well, we have to work and we don't have enough PTO. And so that was a huge drive for my why. And so I just kind of made a list of my whys. after listening to that and really dug a little bit deeper. And so I really recommend doing that. And it definitely coincides with what Sarah was going over, because you are totally capable of this. There's a lot of nitty gritty, like staying consistent, you know, all those things. But if you have your why and you have your vision board written out and it's in front of you, and, you know, I've got big things. I have like 150K in savings, you know, just random numbers like that I have thought about and why I want this certain amount. And I have it all the way down to a workout bike. So I have it super small. So like my next goal is to buy a workout bike. And then my next goal is to start like a college fund for Kindle and things like that. So start small and work your way up to those big goals. So yes, 200K is amazing. Making lots and lots and lots of money per week is going to be amazing, but start small. You know, make it attainable, like $200 a week, $50 a week. Work hard to get there, accomplish it, and then continue moving forward. So, oh, thank you, Sarah. And then the other thing that the podcast was going over was give them ownership of the plan. Instead of just a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, when we enroll somebody, we're like, great, okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to start with guide 1, and then let me know when you're done, and just kind of like contact me whenever you're done with that. When we need to be like, okay, let's see, okay, how are you wanting to work this business? Getting to know them, like, what are your available hours? And I did do this with a couple people, and it definitely helped. They're like, okay, I work full time, and I helped all of my promoters get a schedule. Like especially when they were working full time, I was super good at that because I started this business working 3 other jobs. And so I had to be really good at time blocking and scheduling. So getting to know their schedule, getting to know their availability. If they're only wanting to work this business an hour a day, 3 hours a day, get to know that and kind of see like where they're wanting this business to go. Because then you can be like, okay, if you only got an hour, sister, like these are the things that you have to do. But if you've got 3 hours, maybe make some unfolds, reach out to your team, like, you know, do more that you can tack on, but just get to know, like, have them make their own plan. Because when people get started in this industry, they show up and like feel like they want to do it all. And like, it's not very attainable because real life happens. So you want to set up a schedule that they can maintain on their worst day. So say, okay, if you had a crazy day, like what would be your bare minimum time that you could work this business? Because we really want this business to be a business of commitment versus convenience. Because if you're really wanting all these goals, I can help you get there, but you got to help me help you. So kind of put it in their hands, and, you know, you're going to give them all these tools, but really just kind of put it on them because it is their own business and you're a leader. You're going to help guide them to what those goals are. So, and then if you see them kind of falling off, be like, hey, what can I help with? Can I make a post for you? Can I make an unfold for you? Like hold their hand. Cause sometimes I've been so busy that Rye's like, hey, what can I help with? Like, here's a quick unfold, use that. And so I always share unfolds that are shared within like our leader chats, my uplines chats. Like I always share those to my downline because you just never know. Like I have a lot of time on my hands because this is my full-time job along with real estate, but I get to do it at home. And so when I've got girls like Des, she's a student, she's a mom, she's a cheer coach, she's working full-time as a teacher, and she's got so much. And so if I can help her in any way, like edit her post or read a post that she's not sure about, or a response to somebody, I'm going to drop whatever I'm doing because I know she's busy and needs my help. So whenever I can, I just like to help. So, let's see. Yeah. Just think about like little whys, like, you go to TJ Maxx and you still look at the price tag because you broke, man. Like it happens. I still do because it's just, I'm a penny pincher. but it would be so nice to be in a position to where you didn't have to do that, and you didn't have to grocery shop at Walmart. You could go to like somewhere with better produce, or better meat selection, or it's like shopping at like Walmart versus Costco, kind of like. It would be nice because the Costco has the membership, Walmart doesn't, and Costco just has great everything, while Walmart, it's iffy sometimes. So it's nice to have that ability as well. And those are all great things to talk about on your story. Like, talk about your why, talk about your goals. If you're brand new here, which a lot of you are, and you're not making that great income, and you feel like you can't talk about the business and what we have to offer here, talk about your goals. Like, this is what the business offers. These are my goals. Watch me. I'm going to hit this rank. Put it out there. Ryan, she told me to put out that I'm going 12K, I'm going 4K, I'm going whatever K. And when I did that, it really held me accountable. When I took before pictures, before I had an after picture, it held me accountable. Like, oh shit, like I have to do the work. I have to do the workouts. I have to be consistent with my Thrive. I can't be eating a ton of sugar and drinking and, partying and being up all night, because like I told these people I'm going to give them an after picture. And when you do that, it holds you accountable. And I think Sarah and Crystal did that. And their results were pretty amazing. Yes. Good, Sarah. Yeah. Like, call yourself out. Just be like, I am 12K. And I've gotten away from writing, I am 4K. I am 12K. I have a whiteboard in my room, and I need to get back on that. I will hold myself accountable today. When I get back to Texas, I will write, I am whatever rank, and writing that on your board, plus all of like your to-dos, you're going to look at that like, I am 12K every single morning, and be like, okay, I got to work like a 12K. I got to show up like a 12K and stay organized like a 12K, commit like a 12K, and it will be yours. So that's my little spiel. I can't really read the chat unless it pops up, because my computer's being stupid. So if you guys had questions, hopefully Sarah can answer that. But that's pretty much all I had to say. I'll mute it for Sarah.
I was just gonna read Des's real quick, and it says like one of her whys is because I'm going to tell Clark. One of my whys is because I'm going to tell Clark no, it's because that's my decision, not because I can't afford it. I love that, and I feel that. Like, telling your kids no because you can't afford it is just, oh, it breaks my heart. Like, they want another horse right now, and I'm like, well, horses are like, buying a house right now, so I'm not about to go and do that one. And I feel horrible, but it's like, I just can't justify spending $7,000 on a horse right now. So totally feel that. But I just know having your why in front of you is huge. And what Shelby said, I actually did this last week. I called myself out on hitting 12K this month. We've been so close quite a few times and still have yet to do it. When I restarted this business back in October of last year with this team, I know I said at the end of this year, I wanted to be 40K. And when I look back at the work I've done this last year, I'm like, yeah, you haven't been showing up like a 40K leader. So something I've done is I found a leader who is 40K, who I haven't told her this yet, but I'm actually gonna have a conversation with her and just let her know, like, she's a side sister, but I'm just gonna let her know, like, hey, you really inspire me. Like, your whole page, what you talk about, like, I'm addicted to looking at her social media all the time. And like Ryan says, find somebody you can relate with, find somebody who inspires you and mimic them. Now, don't copy and paste their stuff, but just mimic them and show up as they do, but still be yourself. And so the last few days I've kind of been doing that, and I'm like, I'm getting in a rhythm, in a vibe that I really love, and I don't want to stop showing up as who I'm showing up as right now. But another thing, what was I just going to say? I totally forgot now. Oh, do an audit of like your niche. because I'll be honest, I haven't really had one. Like, yeah, I'm a wife and I'm a stay-at-home mom. Other than that, I don't have a lot besides I'm a thriver. So what I'm gonna do is these last 2 days I've started implementing working out. Like, that's a mandatory thing. Self-development, mandatory thing. Working my business throughout the day when I can, mandatory thing. I don't go to bed unless I've done it all, but I'm gonna start narrowing down my niche to, maybe it's seasonal depression is something that I struggle big with. So I'm trying to stay on top of that now with self-development and working out. I would love to lose these last like 15 pounds that I just cannot seem to get off, but I also haven't been trying really. So that's another thing. So I'm going to take people on that journey of, my mental struggles, staying on top of them with the self-development, the working out. I meal prepped last night and I totally should have did that. I made a really easy, delicious dinner tonight. Totally should have shared that. But like, that's things I'm not used to sharing, but that's how my platform is going to be now, between working out, self-development. And I'm going to hit those moms that are like, oh, I need like a quick, easy meal, but something that's still healthy-ish, or I want a meal prep. I need ideas. And so look at your niche and figure out if your pillars are still you and go off of that. And that's really, I think, about all I had. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
I was just gonna add is what I pretty much put in the chat on the whole niche thing. It just makes me think about, I'm sure you guys have seen the real words like, you need to find you again, not mom you, not wife you, but you. And like, the first time I heard that, I was like, dang, you're right. Because I have stopped doing so many things that I love. And like trying to find like me again, like I stopped reading. I haven't read books in years. And I've read like 5 books in the past 3 weeks because I'm like, I enjoy doing that. I'm finding me again. Or like just small things that make me me that I didn't realize I stopped doing. That, yeah, could be my niche, could be me.
I love
but
that.
Yeah.
That's so perfectly said.
Anybody else have anything they want to add? Sorry, Shelby, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just like loving what she was saying too. I was like,
No,
yes.
you're fine. You go, girls.
Yes. All right. If nobody has anything else, we are about to run out of time. So I will go ahead and get this uploaded, and it'll probably be dropped in the chats in the morning because some reason my computer's taking longer. So anyways, thank you all for hopping on.